Hi, I'm Emily Rose.
And I'm Dan Philgreen. Welcome to Shell Point Today for Wednesday, February 12th.
Heading into the midweek today, we're going to hear about heart-healthy nutrition.
And one other example I might give are black beans. Extremely high in folic acid.
We'll get an update from the medical center.
Tammy Frazier invited me here today to talk to you about what you should know when being prescribed a new medication by your doctor.
We'll visit another home sweet home and more.
I am here with Wilma and Harold that live over here in Royal Bonnet. Hello, you two. Good to see you.
But first, let's take a look back on this day in history. It was February 12th, 1924, when Rhapsody in Blue by George Gershwin was performed for the first time. It was at the Aeolian Hall in New York. The event was billed as an educational event. The experiment in modern music concert was to demonstrate the relatively new form of music called jazz. After 24 pieces, the house was growing restless. Then, a young man named George Gershwin, at the time known only as a composer of Broadway songs, seated himself at the piano to accompany the orchestra in the performance of a brand new piece of his own composition called Rhapsody in Blue. It starts with an outrageous cadenza of the clarinet, wrote New York Times critic Olin Downs of the now famous 2.5 octave glissando that makes Rhapsody in Blue as instantly recognizable as Beethoven's Fifth Symphony. Another review said, "This is no mere dance tune set for piano and other instruments. This composition shows extraordinary talent." The piece was put together very hastily. Just 5 weeks prior to the concert, Gershwin had not committed to writing a piece for the concert, when his brother Ira read a report in the newspaper stating that George was, quote, "at work on a jazz concerto for the program." Rhapsody in Blue would, of course, come to be regarded as one of the most important American musical works of the 20th century. It would also open the door for a whole generation of serious composers from Copland to Brecht to draw on jazz elements for their own important works. You know, Emily, we've got a Gershwin concert coming up on the 27th of this month.
I did not know that.
It's called Embraceable You.
Very
We'll have some more details about that when it gets a little closer.
The Palm Grill is pleased to host the plant-based eating group for a 3-course gourmet plant-based dinner at 5 p.m. tomorrow. The meal costs $15 and includes beverages. Reservations are necessary and we're supposed to be in last week, but to check and see if there were any last-minute cancellations, you can contact group co-leader Honey Levine at honey@honeylevine.com or call her at 713-447-6197.
Another group that seems to do very well on a plant-based diet are the Great Apes. You can learn all about them tomorrow on a trip to the Center for Great Apes. The day will start with breakfast at Java Cafe in downtown Wauchula. Tucked away in the small rural community in southern Central Florida is the Center for Great Apes, a beautiful tropical habitat. Surrounded by orange groves, the 100-acre sanctuary provides a home for more than 40 great apes that were rescued due to animal testing or from production companies. For the tour, no food or beverages other than non-colored water bottles are allowed. Please be prepared to do some walking, and closed-toed shoes are required. Sign-up is required by contacting any concierge desk. Court pickups will begin on the island at 8:20 a.m. and the return time will be approximately 5 p.m.
The Republican Club meets tomorrow at 6 p.m. in the Grand Cypress Room. The group will host 3 speakers for a time of questions and answers. You'll have the opportunity to hear from Jonathan Martin, chair of the Republican Executive Committee for Lee and Henderson counties, Adam Batana, candidate for state representative, and Randy Henderson, who is the candidate for the United States Congress and the current mayor of Fort Myers. All are welcome to attend, and that's tomorrow at 6 p.m. in the Grand Cypress Room.
One Republican president, Ronald Reagan, used to say, "Government isn't the answer, it's the problem." If you happen to feel that way, you might rather head out onto the water for a beautiful sunset cruise and just forget about politics. And we've got you covered for that too. The Suzy Q shoves off from the dock behind the church tomorrow for a 2-hour excursion along the beautiful waterways surrounding Shell Point. The trips are timed to end with the sunset, so be sure to call for the exact departure time and to sign up. You can do that by calling the greeter desk at the Island Commons at 454-2136. The cost is $5 for residents and $10 for guests.
As economic and political worries increase, investors are faced with more challenges. Join Genesis Wealth Management tomorrow for insights into these issues and much more. Topics to be covered include, will the tariffs ever end? How will the elections affect my portfolio? Are we headed for recession? What is the next move for interest rates? How will the Federal Reserve impact markets in 2020? How should I position my portfolio as 2020 begins? And is your vision clear for the year ahead? Come out and find out at 10 a.m. in the Grand Cypress Room tomorrow.
If you've been scrolling the internet and watching talk shows and reading magazines, you're likely to have heard about the many trendy diets out there today. Tomorrow, Carol Clark, APRN, will educate you about the diets everyone is talking about. Keto, paleo, Mediterranean, and more, so that you'll have the information you need to make sure you're choosing the healthiest diet for you. That's tomorrow at 11:30 in the Social Center.
Pastor Andy Hawkins of the Village Church will be starting a series on church history tomorrow in the Grand Cypress Room. He'll examine the key personalities and theological issues that marked its first 500 years, the expansion of the early church, the development of church leadership, the significance of Constantine and Augustine, and the nature of Christ. This session is the first in an ongoing study of church history. That's tomorrow from 2 to 3:30 in the Grand Cypress Room.
Carefree Connections offers caregivers and care partners with dementia an opportunity to build authentic friendships while promoting a culture of wellness, community involvement, and positive life experiences for couples. To foster easy participations, outings take place 4 times per month. For additional information about any of the 4 February events, contact Healthy Living Coordinator Alice DeFalco at 433-7939.
Tomorrow, representatives from Shell Point's healthcare team will host a forum for Shell Point residents that will share a summary of the many exciting events and changes that took place in 2019. Additionally, the healthcare leadership team will cast a vision for 2020 that will address all areas of service, including future initiatives that will enable the healthcare team to better care for, serve, and satisfy residents at Shell Point. Come to the Healthcare Forum at 2 p.m. tomorrow at the Village Church. For more information, call 454-2186.
Art and more art is coming to Shell Point in a big way. Let's get a word about registration for the next show.